What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another new Comic Book Day Top 10 list. Now, I know it was a really light week, so instead of doing my usual Top 10 list, I'm going to be doing a Top 5 list instead. I managed to grab a total of 8 issues, and I'm really excited to talk about them with you guys. We had some really good ones, but we did also have some really bad ones as well. I've got books to talk about today from Dark Horse, Marvel Comics, Image, AWA, and Ablaze. Now, as always, as I begin to start talking about these books, just be aware that there are going to be some spoilers. I changed some things up for this video, so I hope you guys like it. But as always, I'm going to be putting the little spoiler tag down below in the corner to let you know that the spoiler is about to happen. So if you don't want to hear it, just skip on to the next one. And now, without further ado, everyone, let's talk some comics. All right, everyone, so these first 3 issues that I'm about to talk about today obviously did not make this week's top 5 list, and they're in no particular order, but the first one that I'm going to be going over is from Marvel. We've got Silver Surfer Ghost Light, issue number 2. This is cover A. I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm really not enjoying this series at all so far. I think the story is extremely boring. Now, see, I could look past a boring story if the artwork is really well done, but I'm really not enjoying the art either. So put both of them together, I'm definitely not going to be continuing on this series. This second issue to me just kind of seemed like a family reunion in my opinion. Everyone from the family is still shocked to find out that their Uncle Al is still alive, but we did get a nice little backstory on the Uncle Al, where he's been all these years, what's been going on with him. We got to see how him and Silver Surfer were friends. Did get a little bit of action on top of that too, so I mean, it did have a lot of stuff going on in this issue, but I just felt like overall it was very boring. So with all that being said, like I was just talking about, I'm definitely not going to be continuing on that series. I want to hear your opinions on it down below. Next one that I'm going to be talking about is from Image. We've got Almighty, issue number 2. This is cover A. Kind of same thing. I really didn't enjoy that first issue. It wasn't bad by any means. The artwork was a lot better than the Silver Surfer Ghostlight, in my opinion. Not a whole lot of stuff happened in the first issue. It kind of felt, I don't want to call it rushed, but almost as if they expected us to know what was going on already. There was a lot of action right off the bat. Kind of read as if it was a second or third issue. Now, for the second issue, almost nothing happened at all. If you skip that first issue, in my opinion, and just started with this second one, I feel like you'd still get a pretty good understanding of what's going on in this series. We still got our main characters. They're trying to get Del to Lone Cast City, and the biker gang is just chasing them down. That's pretty much what this entire issue really was. Now, we did get to see Fail and Del's relationship grow a little bit more in the second issue, so I did like that at least. I'm not 100% if I'm going to be continuing on this series just yet, but as of now, I just think it's an alright series in my opinion. Now for this last one that didn't make this week's top 5 list, I actually thought it was a really good issue. We've got Marvel's brand new one, X-23 Regenesis, issue number 1. This is the Stormbreakers variant. I actually really like this issue, and if you're interested in learning more about Laura Kinney, getting into just the X-23 character, I think this is a great starting point for you guys. You are going to be a little lost as the issue progresses, but I think they did a really good job kind of catching fans up on what she's been up to over the years, the stuff she's recently been doing with the X-Men. But in this issue, she's really just struggling to find her place in society. She views herself as a hero. Does she view herself as a villain because of all the things that she's done in her past? But in this issue, we really get to see her just helping out her community. She's trying to save people from a burning building. And I think we had some really good action in it as well, but on top of that, they did a great job progressing the story in this first issue. Now, if you are a new reader jumping into this character, you are going to be a little lost because they did reintroduce the character Chimera in this issue, and she does have a past with X-23. I'm not going to be spoiling that for you guys. You either got to read it for yourself or check it out online. So at that rate, you are going to be a little lost, but they did have a first appearance in this one as well. I think overall, they did a great job with this first issue. I highly recommend it. And now let's jump into the real top 5 list. At number 5 this week, we've got Image's brand new one, Stoneheart, issue number 1. This is cover A. Originally, I wasn't planning on picking up this first issue. I'm not a big fan of magic and fantasy comics like at all. It's just not something that I'm interested in reading. But that aside, if you're a fan of those types of books, I honestly think you're going to really enjoy this one. I didn't dislike it, but at the same time, I didn't really like the story either. I'm interested to see where they go with our main character. But before I get into the story, the artwork was fantastic. I feel like there was so much details on the characters, the colors that they used, and the art just flowed so nicely across the pages. Top-notch work on the art. Now, with the story, we got our main character, Shade Whisper. She's part of the land Althea, and that whole area is served by the Paladins Guild. They deem Shade Whisper way too dangerous, so what they do is they wipe her mind, they exile her to an entirely different area. So now she's in a whole different area. She doesn't know who she is, but she's going to be a blacksmith's apprentice. The story goes from there. So the first issue, they gave us a lot of stuff happening in the very beginning, but then it slows down just a little bit, but at the very end, we get left on a nice cliffhanger. So that's what I'm saying. I didn't really dislike it. I didn't really like it that much either. The artwork was fantastic. And that's why I always say, if the story is okay, I'm willing to continue on with it. Hopefully it gets better. And if the artwork is great, that's why I'm going to continue on with it. Great artwork, not a bad story by any means. It's just not really my style. I want to hear your opinions on it down below. So for those reasons, we got this one coming in at number 5. So now we've got at number 4, this is Marvel's Moon Knight, issue number 21. This is cover A. I have been extremely back and forth on this series. I absolutely love the earlier stuff, and then it started losing me a little bit more in the middle. In the beginning, we just had Moon Knight out in the streets. He's solving crimes. There's always a mystery going on. Moon Knight was a detective, and I loved what they did with it. The middle issues turned more into kind of a standard, just Marvel superhero series. Moon Knight's fighting a villain, and nothing really happens from there, and then the next arc just leads into more just Moon Knight fighting a bad guy, and it just lost me a little bit with that. That's why I bring all this up, because with the latest arc, this isn't the newest one, the last issue was, but I feel like we're back at the beginning stages. We've got Moon Knight trying to solve some crimes. There's a mystery. They introduced us to the ghost and the telephone in the last issue, and now in this one, they kind of followed up with that just a little bit. We've got some of our main characters that are out in the club. They're just having some fun, but the DJ, he plays a certain sound, and everybody goes crazy. There's just mass chaos, and everybody's fighting each other, and they realize that it was the sound, same thing that the ghost and the telephone was using. So, I mean, we're back at the mystery. We're back to Moon Knight being a detective. I highly recommend checking this one out. Let me know what you think about it down below, and for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 4, this is Marvel's Moon Knight, issue number 21. Now for this next one coming in at number 3, folks, I had to read this one digitally, but we've got Ablaze's Children of the Black Sun, issue number 3. Man, I love this series. This series is so good. Now, the artwork, I'm a fan of it, but it is very unique, so if you're not a fan of that style, you just gotta look past this one for the story, because the story is just on point right now. I'm loving everything that they're doing with it. The first 2 issues really introduced us a lot to the series. We got to learn the characters, we got to learn more about the Children of the Black Sun, how they have powers. So this one, it's been a culmination of everything that's led to this moment, and we get a lot going on in this one. We get different perspectives on the Black Sun. We get to see a religious take. We get to see a scientific take on it as well. The kids meet the prophet, who is apparently the absolute truth to everything. And now on top of that, now, this is going to be a bigger spoiler. Apparently, the Black Sun is coming back, and it could happen at any moment. So this next issue, the Black Sun could come back, and a lot of crazy stuff is going to be going down. So that's why I said there's a lot of stuff going on in this 3rd issue, but they've done such a phenomenal job building up to it. Definitely check this series out. It has been so much fun. And for those reasons, we got it coming in at number 3 this week. Next up at number 2, we've got AWA's Black Tape, issue number 2. This is cover A. I love the 2nd issue. They did such a phenomenal job with this one. The artwork, the storytelling, the plot progression. There was so much stuff happening in the 2nd issue, and none of it, in my opinion, felt rushed at all. Now, I know when I reviewed the first one, I kind of thought, it was a little bit more on the slower side. They gave us a lot of filler, a lot of details and backstory on some of these characters. But then when they smacked us with that cliffhanger, they have went pedal to the metal, full throttle for this 2nd issue, and they didn't skip a beat on anything. I love what Cindy is doing. She's trying to figure out what's going on with her deceased husband, Jack, who these missing girls are, but I think the best takeaway from the 2nd issue is all these characters that are trying to be super nice to Cindy. They're trying to get close to her, but in reality, whose side are they really on? Were they on Jack's side? Are they trying to figure out what Cindy knows or what she doesn't know? It's a mystery, and I love it. Definitely check this series out, especially if you're an AWA fan. It's an absolute no-brainer. But we've got it coming in at number 2 this week. Here we go, everyone. This is it, my number 1 read of the week. We've got coming in at number 1. This is Dark Horse's brand new one. We've got Clear, issue number 1. This is the scratched foil variant, and good golly gosh, was this a banger. I absolutely loved everything about this first issue. The artwork was stellar. I love the colors and just how the artwork flowed across all the pages. The characters were fun. The plot and character development was great as well. We got a lot of backstory. Now, this is a big, oversized issue. It does have, I think, a $6 or $7 price tag on it. But in my opinion, I absolutely felt like I got my money's worth for this one. Now, this isn't the first time this was released. This is the first time it came out in a physical copy. This is a Comixology series. I don't know if the whole series is already released, but if you want to read it already, definitely check it out on Comixology. But like I said, I felt like I got my money's worth. This was a fantastic first issue. So a little bit about it without too many spoilers. So we've got our main character, and he's a detective. And the way that everybody lives in the world is that they can basically create any sort of world that they want. They use something called a veil. And when I say they can make anything that they want, any sort of colors, anything that they want to see, that is the world that they have created for themselves. But our main character, he doesn't want to see the world through a lens. He doesn't want to see it in any sort of way other than what it actually is. And man, we get to see him solving some crimes. We get to see him in action, but then we get into the plot, maybe around the halfway point. And that's where I'm going to leave you guys with it. You definitely need to check this one out. It didn't let me down at all. I was really hyped up for this one. I was expecting it to be my #1 read of the week, and it definitely has taken the crown. Like I said, check it out on Comixology. Grab yourself a physical copy, but no doubt in my mind, this is taking the crown at #1 this week. We've got Clear from Dark Horse. And that's a wrap on this week's top 5 list of books, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to comment down below what your top read of the week was and which ones you think I missed out on. If you want to check out some more content from me, I've got 2 more videos sitting off to the side here. And if you're interested in helping support the channel, I've got my Patreon listed down below as well. You get early access to these videos. You also get access to my Discord, and I do monthly giveaways on there as well. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out to me. The link is listed down below. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great day, and I've got a quick preview of the upcoming live stream I'm going to be featured in on the EXP.
Hey there, everyone. Come join us here at The Experience this Wednesday, March 15th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Ooh, the Eyes of March. Well, I doubt anything bad will happen. Don't tell Nick. Anyway, it's going to be a great show no matter what. We're going to have more of your favorite Dynamite titles with Marvel, DC, and more. So come join us. The whole gang will be here. It's March 15th, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on The Experience. Can't wait to see you then.